Hey girls, here's a video review from our previous match. We're going to try and get a little consistent on these as we move forward and get you some clips every couple of weeks. So these clips relate, even though it was a pretty dominant victory. These clips are going to relate to our number one is our forward movement or our movement with our attackers, our midfielders, and forwards, and how it relates to us forcing plays and playing the ball when it's probably not the best scenario. And then we'll look at a couple of transition to defend moments or our defensive shape in transition. So we'll get started. If anybody has any questions, don't hesitate to get in touch. So first clips are just going to be about our forward movement. You can see there's a switch to the point here. So as we see, we've got plenty of numbers to be able to, play the ball, but what is the movement entail? So Lizzie played the ball over to Carly on the other side. So now we want to start to think about how can we make it so that we stretch them a little bit more and make sure that we create little passing angles so that players can make runs in, as opposed, to just dumping a ball into the area. So you'll see the ball just gets kind of dumped in. And if you back up just a little bit, as we have this player here, Ava does a good job of getting in there. Is it possible for Mia to make a run forward as the 10? Is it necessary? That's the other question. So we can potentially also make sure that once we've stretched the play out with one of our forwards, we want to move ourselves to this area. Mia can come in here, and now it's more of a ground pass, but it doesn't happen if we don't stretch their team out a little bit. So again, you can just see it's just kind of a hopeful ball. Maybe we could have even switched the point back, and the same thing happens in the same play here. As we move into this area here, this is an excellent run, and take a look at how they're opened up. Excellent run here as Sarah takes the ball there. Now it's just a delivery into Viv, where we can get the opportunity. So we can see how we've opened them up as a team. That's not a bad effort here either to play, but can we maybe play the ball in right after that to one of us? And this is actually really good from Avery, just securing the ball, and we start over again. So same thing here. Look at how tight we are and well, how much of a defensive block that they are in, and as we'll see against opponents upcoming. So as they're really, really tight here, what's the next stage here in terms of how do we break them down? So are we able to get the ball into this side here? And again, the point here is that you literally have one player out here and another here where we could stretch them a little bit more. So Avery does a good job of threading the needle in this scenario, but it's Viv against, 2, 3 defenders, and they're blocking it pretty easily. If we move them a little bit more by playing it this way, it's another option. So again, these are not, specifics that you have to do. It's more of just giving you a guideline and some ideas on what type of movement there should be when we're playing, against the team that sits back a little bit more. So this is pretty good here. The idea would be to come into that area and maybe even come into that area. Good check. Okay, so now what's next? So Viv is now asked to try and find something against 4 black shirts. She does, but there's just too much defending there going on. So the solution here is, as this is happening in this scenario right there, is can Ava run in behind? Can Mia run in up higher? Can Sarah even run across, just to make sure the defenders or the opponent are also moving? Is there a way where we can get the ball out after Viv's layoff and then find, some open space? So again, not bad there, but you see how congested it is just in this area right here. And it's going to be really difficult to break teams down, especially teams that defend really well in that scenario. Now, as Kylie's carrying the ball, just a little bit of a touch on, what's the movement look like? The gap is there. You can see right there to play in to Viv. The gap is there, and it gets even bigger as things move forward. Okay, here. So now, is this scenario where Viv's potentially pulling this player out? Here, is she coming with her or not? If she's not coming with her, can we play her the ball? She turns and plays Ava. It's also, can we potentially even clip the ball into Ava since Kylie's broken the line there? Okay, now another key here that I want to make sure we discuss is, what does our shape look like when a center back leaves? Are we making sure that we step up to stop any counters or any transitions? So again, instead of playing the slow or the quick combination, just back it up a little bit. Instead of playing this one here like Viv got earlier, where she's able to lay the ball off and then we play the ball into space, there's confusion or we're not on the same page. So now it's three white jerseys running up against theirs, and we're putting the ball and being hopeful in that scenario. Good bounces here or passes here. So in this scenario, Carly, you can see that Ava shows you what she wants right here. She shows you, and again, you've got an opponent on you. I think Ava, you could potentially stay in this pocket right there and get on the ball. But the player that wanted to run is Viv. So now we've got to make sure that we deliver the ball in and over to that area. And again, for me, this is just an option, but yeah, maybe we can get the ball to the other side since we have the options, and Avery was able to pull her immediate defender out, get a throw in there. Here's just a very simple one. Again, it's not the end of the world, but I want you to see where. So Mia, you can see how Viv is asking for the ball right here, and you eventually end up playing the ball here, which is a great ball, but it's got to be determined by the runner. As the ball carrier, you're going to deliver, and there has to be a good relationship between the two. You got to be on the same page. Like if she wants the ball in behind, that's one thing, or slip through, but she's right here asking for the ball and has a fair point that, can we get the ball into her? Could you take a touch into this area, pass her the ball, and now she's 1v1 to goal, which I think you did already. We scored a goal like that already in the game, or we were about to. Good little flick in. So now look at the forwards runs. Everybody's just kind of running, as opposed to, can we be a little bit more tactical or a little bit more savvy here? Great set. We're out, time and space in front of Amara. Now, are we able to play this pass and then into this pass and then into that pass? Or, maybe one of you forwards, back up here, maybe one of you forwards check back here and then the other can run. There's a lot of options here. But what it looks like is everybody's just running, and I think we've got enough ability. So this looks like what we do in training. Center back plays into the six plays out. So in this moment, there's situations where I think we can do better in terms of how we're delivering this ball. We've got a 3v2 right here. Is there a window there to find Ava? Does Ava want the ball? Another question, like, is she showing that she wants the ball, or should we be a little bit more patient and find the open player and maybe switch the point of attack? So for me, it's the midfield being on the same line here. Can one of you drop out a little bit? Can one of you drop out here? Be the option, because once this happens, if I'm just going to go real quick, if we were to pass it to a player in this area here, look at the forwards that we have in this situation, where now it's maybe Viv's checking back, getting a pass in from, I think that's Lizzie. She's setting Ava, and it's a goal, or an attempt on goal. So again, just thought process, something to think about. So here's a couple of situations that, if it happens more than once in a game, or a few times in a game, we want to at least address it, just to, again, give you ideas on how we want to approach. So not much going on in the 18 at this point. Sarah looks to, I mean, if she's got this much time and space against one opponent, we want her to take them on. She does, but now there's not much going on. Viv gets the ball. There's no shooting opportunity. So this is the cue. When the pass comes backwards, right here, this is when we want to make sure that we're flooding the 18. And I think that would be Lizzie right there to the top of the 18. Now, as soon as whether she takes a touch or doesn't. So for me, as on the back pass, these center backs and backs are starting to step up, or a good unit of a back four is trained to step on the negative pass. So as they're stepping, now Elise is sending a one-touch service in, but we don't have many runners there, so it takes a little bit more time. So the touch and then the serve. But again, if you guys see, they've got it covered. So again, the coaching point here is when we're able to lay the ball off into an outside back, from from the opponent's 18, can we whip a ball in and can we get numbers into the attack? So the same thing happens here. Nothing on in front of the goal. Still have it cleanly. It's a little better than it was, but now can we start to turn ourselves and run this way? Can we start to run across? Can we start to run in and have that left-footed service come in from Sarah much quicker? Because you can see how they have three defenders, outside of the 18 not defending. Look at this gap right here where we're just curling the ball in, and it's a goal, or it's a scoring opportunity. So again, just ideas. If something like that happens a couple of times in a match, we want to address it. So again, you can see where sometimes, and against a quality opponent, if we don't have a lot of movement to get on the ball, it causes a few breakdowns here. So now Kylie starts to carry the ball, and we're still in a very expansive shape. With Carly, we want to get over and cover. Lizzie, I think, is starting to do a good job of that. And then we want to make sure, the opposite side at least gets in, because if we lose it, we have a center back gone. So again, the situation here, you can see from where Kylie, is unfortunate there. We have a good 20-yard gap from her to our back line. So we can definitely get a little bit closer and stop this, because you can see the numbers that the team in black, or that Delaware, has in front of them. If this is a better pass here, she's in on goal. But we're able, so like I said, is able to cover it. Similarly here, again, we want a big shape, we want to be expansive, but we also have to recognize that in the event that we're going to play the ball forward, we've got to get connected if it's a 50-50 ball. So right in that situation right there, you can see how they have, and again, we're focusing on defensive shape. So you can see how they have the numerical advantage if they win this ball. So if I back up just a little bit, as that ball goes in the air, we definitely want to start to squeeze in a little bit more and make sure we're getting up, make sure we're getting up, make sure we're getting up, make sure we're tucking in, so that in the event we lose the ball, it's not an easy transition moment. And if she hits this clean one touch, it's a potential scoring opportunity for them. Same thing here, or not same thing, sorry. This is a slightly different moment, but again, it's a transition moment because we had the ball, we lost the ball, they're clearing the danger. So we can see if Soph gets there right on time and challenges, then it's a winnable ball. The fact that she doesn't means that we need to make sure that we're covering a little bit better as soon as the flight of the ball happens. So back up just a bit. As soon as the flight happens, we need to be in a better position, so that Soph has the confidence and just challenge her and continue to tackle and tackle. But instead, now look at how we're in a 50-yard sprint, and Soph is the last defender. So again, I'll just one more time. She's the challenger and then ultimately becomes the last defender, and nobody was covering in the right amount of space. So again, it's debatable on that, in terms of who's covering, but when we have a center back step like that, we want to make sure players are covering her. Look at how expansive our shape is. Clearly we had the ball. Now, as soon as you notice that this situation here is happening, as soon as you notice that's happening where it's 1v1 and she's under it a bit, and then the second player is potentially coming to defend her, we got to close the lines a little bit. And like I said, against a quality opponent, they could punish us in that scenario. So now you can see once they start to attack, how big are we? Okay, Amara, you can see is working to get across. Is our midfield in a shape here where we are defending, or are we giving them this space? So Mia was the one addressing the ball. I think that was Mia. Yeah. So Alex, can we drop in? Ava, can we drop in? Yeah, I think that's Maya. You can sit back and absorb her pressure a little bit, because once you do that, you can see how we're set up to defend in our diamond. It's not really an organized shape, and we're allowing them to get just slightly in behind us. So you can see it at real speed again, and you can slow it down and watch it on your own. That's how our midfield is defending. We definitely want to fix that shape a little bit and get to places a little bit quicker. As well, good step from Elise. We're still not out of it. Mia's back though. Similar situation here. In that situation, they're under it. I think that's still Amara. They're under it, Kylie. They're not really out of it. It doesn't look like we're going to be able to switch the point of attack easily. So we need to make sure that we're helping out in the event we lose it. It's good cover from Soph, but again, you can see how expansive we are. And if that player is slightly faster and gets to the ball, it becomes trouble. This ball, again, back to the forward movement. So I don't mind the ball that Elise sends, but if Viv is showing you that she wants this ball, then that's the delivery. I think Viv is showing you that she wants the ball into that channel. And then obviously everybody else needs to get up. Doesn't happen, but the transition moment here. Diagonal run back, diagonal run back, diagonal run back, diagonal run back. That's okay. We've still got pressure on the ball. Viv's working on it. Now, this is a scenario, Sarah, I think that's you right there. So once Elise is gone, you must assume the role of a right back until she says, or until it's an opportunistic time to switch. Because now we leave a center back in a 1v1 situation. And of course, Kylie cleans it up, but we do have to be careful and aware of that in these situations. A couple more. We're getting out of it. So on the loss there, can we slide over and be tight? Can we get in and protect the goal? Do we apply enough pressure to this player here as she gets on the ball? Can we get tight? Can we get tighter? Recognizing that Mia has to make a choice here because she's got the player right in behind her. But since she showed shot and Hannah was there to save it, it works out for us. This is the last one here. Loss of possession, angled run back, angled run back, angled run back, angled run back. A little bit more, because if that happens, then Avery can commit to defending this player here, and you guys would have come back to close everything up. Now, there's a question here. Do we leave a center back in a 1v1 scenario? I don't think it's the right idea. I think it's better for, if for Avery to stay out here and defend this midfielder as the pass is made, because then it makes it predictable that she's going to hit a long ball if you just back up a little bit. So if we can get there a little quicker, get there a little bit quicker, and now our shape is organized. Now as the pass is made, because Ava's there, now Avery can go and defend this player on the ball, and we're 2v1 in this scenario. Works out, no problem. But now we're a little bit under it and almost an opportunity. So again, not defended poorly, but just from a structure standpoint, and it's a good effort to transition to attack. But from a structure standpoint, we definitely want to make sure, that we're positionally set up so that we can avoid any clear cut opportunities. Most of those chances that they had were kind of half chances, and you guys did a good job. And like I said, dominant performance from you, but certainly wanted to give you an idea on a couple of things that we look at throughout the course, and just our defensive shape versus transition, and then forcing the ball in, or not having enough movement from our midfielders and forwards at times, and not just their movement but the type of delivery that they're getting, whether it's a pass on the ground or a pass into space is important. So again, don't hesitate to get in touch with questions. See you soon.